So I'm gonna finish up talking about my time here in Louisiana, and then go on to maybe go on to start more from the beginning, how it all started. Um, so I arrived here from Texas, and Texas was a whole nother episode. Horrible things happened in Texas, which is why the last thing that happened was that, well, not the very last, but one of the last things that happened was that um, the gang stalkers sent someone to threaten to shoot me in the back. So that was really what made me decide, okay, I need to get out of here. Um, so that was last year. This is now 2024. It is the 14th, yes, of December 2024. I think it was around September when I finally left Texas. I was homeless. I had been homeless for over 3 years then. And yeah, actually, I'm going to tell this story. So just before I crossed over, I got stopped by a police officer in Bridge City. And that was another setup. Um, she said that, now I can't remember what yeah, the insurance. It was because of the insurance had run out. And I believe that's genuine, that I'm pretty sure my insurance had lapsed. I didn't have any money to pay it either. But then she added on, well, I didn't know at the time, but when I went to pay the fine, she had added on, or somebody had added on another ticket. Is that the word? I don't think it is. Uh, another fault, and that was that they said that I didn't have a driver's license. Now I did have a driver's license, and I showed it there and then in the court. Now I have a recording of all that, except for the time when I was actually in the court, because there's a sign. Yeah, I should have ignored the sign, I know, but I do follow rules. That's what I do. I'm one of those people. Anyway, I didn't take my phone into the courtroom with me, but I filmed. I recorded all the rest. The judge was deliberately coughing. He didn't have a cough. He was deliberately coughing. Okay. And the clerk at the counter outside was also gang stalking me. She was also coughing. And then she confirmed by using my triggers. Okay. And I do have all that recorded. And there was another gang stalker standing there as well, who then also started coughing. It was a young man. I wish I'd taken a picture, really. But I'm wondering if courtrooms have cameras. I bet they do. Probably inside and outside, right? Anyway, so anyway, I paid the fine for my lapsed insurance, but I said, I'm not paying a fine for something that isn't true. I said, right, here is my driver's license. It's not a Texas driver's license. It's a Europe driver's license. I haven't managed to change my license because I've been homeless. Okay. But I had my license and I showed it. Anyway, and I left. And But then after that, after I got my house here in Louisiana, they wrote to me on red paper saying there's a warrant for my arrest, telling me that I owe them more than $1,000. I mean, just very aggressive. That kind of thing for me, I'm not someone who deliberately does things wrong. Okay, I'm not. And so things like this really affect me badly. Okay, and on top of it, just everything that has happened to me, I'm already traumatized. Anyway, I still don't know what to do about that. When I contact lawyers, as I've said before, they either gang stalk me using exploitation of phobias, torture, or they kind of treat me like a joke, or they just refuse to take my case, or they disappear. So, anyway, the torture just continued in Louisiana. Just so many incidents, too many to even. There were some people by the beach who, there was a guy who, he was a gang stalker. Just, the the perps, the perps did something to my truck, and then he just happened to be a mechanic. You know how it is. They do this over and over and over and over again, the same things. And I'm supposed to pretend that I don't notice and that I'm just stupid, and it's just the same things over and over and over again that have just wasted my time and tortured me. They're just torturing me over and over and over again, is what they're doing. Anyway, I was staying, he was in an RV park across the road from a beach, and he said that I could stay there. I stayed in my truck, not in his house. I stayed in my truck. Yeah. But of course, the gang stalkers weren't going to let me have a moment's peace, and they had got to the other residents who all started coughing and doing things like that, and getting kids to scream, this high pitched screaming, and yeah, they let me know that I was not welcome, and then I think they hounded the owners of the RV park until they came to basically throw me out. That was only after like two days or something. But actually, I want to say this: the owners of that park were actually very good people, and they were good people. They were being forced to throw me out, but they themselves were good people, and I take note of that. The one thing that I appreciate more than anything else, the daughter of these people was a gang stalker, was in with the gang stalkers, and she thought it was just hilarious. But there was this one moment I will never forget, and the daughter was about that they were leaving, and they had already thrown me out, and I was getting my stuff together to leave, and they're in one of those buggies, beach buggy things, and the daughter was about to say one of my triggers, which is the worst one. I know what she was about to say, and her mother just put her arm across like to shut her up. And then she said something, I can't remember what she actually said, but it was innocuous. It was just like bye or something. And in that moment, I just loved that woman so much for protecting me and for stopping her daughter from torturing me. And the little things like that are not little to me. They might seem little, but they're not little to me. They are enormous. Those things I will never forget. You know, to me, that person who threw me out was kinder to me than all the people who have been, giving me free stuff, but torturing me. Okay? I'm telling you that. There have been times where I've had to pretend, yes, I've had to just pretend that I didn't realize they were gang stalkers because I was homeless, sleeping, on the ground with nothing and nowhere to go. And I had no other options, okay? So I had to pretend. And that's how I got my truck after they'd sabotaged the other one, okay? But the agenda of these people is always to force me to accept the torture and to cover up all the crimes against me. That's what's been happening consistently. Okay? So the reason I'm saying this is that I believe that they present themselves as if they're helping targeted individuals. No, they are not helping us. No, they are not. They are there to cover up the crimes and to force us to compliance. Now, I don't know what it is about this torture, the exploitation of phobias torture. I don't know what it is about it that they are so obsessed with forcing me to accept it. I don't know. My feeling is that they are trying to legitimize this as some kind of therapy or something. I mean, it sounds completely insane, but it seems to me that it's something along those lines. And the reason I say that is that many times, the gang stalkers, they kind of give themselves away with what they say, a lot of the time. And, comments like, oh, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stuff like that, your triggers are your problem. Actually, no, they're not. Not if somebody's deliberately given you a phobia of something and then deliberately sent people to continually trigger you. That is not the victim's problem. That is a crime, actually. But anyway, so I believe that they are literally, it's something along the lines of that they're saying that the TI just needs to get used to it or something. I mean, I don't know quite. It's just insane to me. They've told people before that they're helping to desensitize me, and they're doing the exact opposite. I mean, the only thing that desensitizes, and I know because I've experienced it, the only thing that desensitizes is a long enough period without the stimulus. You need to have a complete break from it. And I know that because they did sensitize me to a few things but not very severely, but just, a little bit. And those things, they were phrases, I'm trying to remember. I realized that because they hadn't been re-emphasized, there's another, I'm using the wrong word there, but re-triggered, because it hadn't been triggered like for a very, very long time. The next time, after a year or something like that, I realized, that phrase is not having that effect on me anymore. I think it was something like, you see, I can't even hardly remember what it was. I think it was how are you doing, or something like that. I can't remember. But you see, they sensitize you to very simple things that nobody else would think, you know, to anybody else, they hear a victim complain about this and they just think you're being ridiculous, you know. So this is the problem. And this is why victims just get labeled as nuts, okay? And actually, they're victims of torture. I mean, it's the most evil plan, you know. It's so evil because it's torture. You can't ignore it. It's torture. But if you say anything to try and get people to stop, then you get locked up in a mental home. I mean, really, it's evil beyond belief, really. Anyway, so Louisiana, and I was basically just trying to find places where I could be without being gang stalked. So, you know, sometimes it would be a park that had a forest, and I would go into the forest. They always found me in the end because, of course, I've got these implants. So they find me no matter where I am. The abuse was continuing. Like every time I go to Walmart or any kind of supermarket, even the staff are doing it. They just openly just gang stalk me, just use this exploitation of phobias. I'm not sure exactly what story they've been told about me, because then the way they do it, they clearly don't think it's a joke. It's the feeling I get from them is that they think I'm some kind of troublemaker or something that's making up lies to get people into trouble, something like that. The story tends to differ. You know, the gang stalkers will tell different people different stories. That's the thing. There was a policeman who, my goodness, the cops are definitely in on this. The cops are in on this. They must know when I'm driving along. They obviously know where I'm headed to. And I was looking for a food bank because at that time I had just had very, very little money. And also in that area, it was right down by the beaches. There was just no supermarkets or anything. There was nothing. So anyway, I was looking for a food bank. And I was told that because that area had been, I don't know if it was flooded or hurricane or something, and they supposedly rebuilding, but it didn't look like they were building anything. And I was told to go to like a town hall kind of place, and in there was police. And now here's what he did, this policeman. I've got it written down somewhere because I made a post about it. His name was either Hill or Hall, something like that. And on the surface, he was being very nice. Now here's the thing I picked up. There were two policemen, but only one of them was the gang stalker. So yes, the police are in on it, but I don't think all the police are in on it, okay? I don't think so. So let me tell the thing. So he, on the surface, was very nice to me. He gave me some cans of tuna. He gave me some food that they were eating, which was very delicious. I told him that, to me, that's called feijoada to me, what he was eating. It was this kind of, it's a stew with beans and different pieces of meat, like including like sausages and stuff like that. And did he say it was gumbo? I can't remember what he told me it was. But to me, that was Brazilian feijoada. Anyway, not that that matters. And actually, I kind of vaguely am trying to be vegetarian, but obviously, when you don't have any food to eat, you will eat whatever you can get, so, and it was really delicious, I have to say. So anyway, on the surface, he was being very, very nice to me. But then guess what? He walked me out, and outside, he just went into a whole monologue using trigger after trigger after trigger, leaving me in zero doubt that he was a gang stalker. And he did it with a very cold look on his, he looked right at me in a very cold, like menacing way, what is this about? Like, what is this about? I do not know. I'm praying and praying and praying for discernment. I need to know what the hell all this is about. If someone out there knows, please put in the comments. Please help me out here. And also, if you think that I'm guilty of something, please write that, because I need to know what I'm being accused of. I know there's a whole bunch of things which I'm going through them, telling the story, but I think there might be other things that I just don't even know about. So, and the thing is, if nobody actually openly accuses me, how can I defend myself, right? Because they're then going to say, oh, well, I never said that. I never said, yeah. No, but I'm being punished as if I had done certain things that I haven't. It's all of this is psychological torture, okay? It's all psychological torture. And they know that. And then they say things like, oh, accuse me of overthinking or something. If you're being psychologically tortured and you don't know why, this will obviously cause you to try and figure it out. This is natural human behavior. Actually, that is something else. The psychologists, oh my goodness, psychology, psychiatry, NLP, the whole thing is fraud, criminal fraud. And I cannot wait for people to realize this. They've been just torturing people for freaking decades, forcing people to take medications that are poison for no reason, because every mental illness is caused by mind control. And probably, the gang stalking, if you're being gang stalked, that's going to make you paranoid for sure, And I bet people were being gang stalked in the past, and they were just locked up as, oh, you're just crazy, Meanwhile, the gang stalkers were just laughing all the way to the bank. I think this is a very, very old crime. That's what I think. Well, I mean, it's what they did to Jesus, isn't it? These are the exact same kind of people who did that to Jesus. They think they're so funny, They put the crown of thorns on his head, didn't they? and called him the king of the. There's your crown, king of the Jews, didn't they? While they were kicking him and stabbing him and torturing him, right? And they were laughing while they were doing that. These are the same kind of people. They're demons, really, is the truth, isn't it? They're just demons. So anyway, Louisiana. So then I went further. Oh, just so many horrible things happened. I can't go into like all of them, but each of these people, I've got recordings. Each of these people need to be investigated. People, when I went to get car insurance, for example, those people gang stalked me in a place called De Quincy. I thought I'd found good people. And so I confided in them and I told them about the gang stalking, and they called a police officer to come, and the police officer then gang stalked me, started fake coughing. I have all of that recorded. It was just horrible. Anyway, and there was a guy who, he was just disgusting. My goodness. He said that I could use his address, so I have it all. I can't even remember his name now. Oh God, he was horrible. He was trying to come in the back of my truck, thinking that these people are being told I'm a prostitute, okay, among other horrible things. And no offense to prostitutes, okay, but I'm not one, okay? I'm not one. And they're trying to force me to do something like that. I know they are, because they've put me in a situation where, I've had no money and no food and all that for many times. But I'm telling you something, I am stubborn. I will die of starvation before I ever do that. That's my personality, But as I say, no offense to anyone who, does that for a living. If that's your choice, fine, but it's not my choice. And I'm not going to be bullied or forced. I will not. I'll die first. I will die first. So, anyway, this guy, he was just disgusting. And then I went up further north and I was looking for plots of land that originally. Oh, I got gang stalked by estate agent, what do you call them here? Realtors. I have all of it recorded. As I said, every Walmart that I went in, every gas station, and then in a place called Maryville. So I was parked behind a gas station, and see, this was a setup, and yet another setup. They'd called the police. The owners of this place had called the police, and this policeman, again, seemed like he was being very friendly and nice, and he was just asking me a few questions, and I said, look, he said the owners had called the police. So I said, oh gosh, I'm sorry. I said, I just, I didn't know where to park. So I thought I'd be safe in a gas station, but if I'm not wanted here, I will leave. And he said, well, let me check with them. So he went and then came back, and he said, no, I told them that you're homeless and that, and they said, oh, it's okay that you can stay, right? And then he said that there was another place that I could possibly stay where Oh no, no. I had asked him. I said, I really need a shower. I said, where can I get a shower? And he told me that there was a cycle path or something, and that they had built some showers for the cyclists there. And he said that he was going to check with them if they'd let me just use the showers, which I thought was very kind. But that was not the truth, you know. He was gaslighting me, because the very next day another policeman came, and you know, all the, you know, step out of the vehicle, ma'am, you know, all this stuff, you know, and I'd been sleeping. It was frightening. Anyway, this police officer was really nice. In the end, he ended up being really nice. He was an Israeli guy. And I told him, I said, look, I told him I'm a trafficking victim. I told him all about that. And but the thing is, it was a setup, because the other guy told me I could stay there. And he had obviously set this up for the other guy to then. Anyway, what happened next was that they escorted me to Bogart Parish police station, where I spoke to a detective, Tiffany Max. Now, I reported to her everything. She at first she was getting angry with me, thinking I was making a joke or something like that. And that was weird. And I did have all this recorded, but guess what? The gang stalkers have they've deleted that particular recording, just that one. Right? How interesting. Anyway, that was a long interview. And I told her I said, this is a crime. I'm reporting it, you know. At the end of, but that she didn't give me a number or anything. At the end of that, she said, oh, well, you're free to go. Like, And in my head, I was like, hang on a minute, but I'm the one reporting a crime here, you know. I don't know. I guess, you know, the mind control makes me not like cotton on to things. It dumbs me down, really. The mind control kind of dumbs me down. But anyway, so I was like, I decided, okay, well, but I'm going to keep reporting this. So I wrote down the incidents that had happened. Oh, yeah. That was it. Because she said that none of the incidents I was talking about had happened in her jurisdiction. That was it. So what I did was I just collected, because I'd written everything down, I collected all the things that had happened in her jurisdiction. And there was even incidents that happened on my way to report this. And I went and I reported it. Now, she wasn't there that day. It was another policeman called Smythe. But they didn't even want to give me a number. I had to actually go back in and get a number, a report number. Now, one of the incidents that I was reporting was an attempted staged accident. Now, that is something that the gang stalkers do over and over and over again. Look, I had to go back to this police station another 2 times after that. And I sent many emails with all the evidence, with the recordings. Also, because they'd done things in other parts of Louisiana as well. Up in Many, there's a place called Many, and the police had taken part in those things. And I have the recordings of that and everything. So I was reporting that also to this detective Max in Bogart. I reported all of that, and basically she was just refusing to investigate anything. She was just, you know. And so then I wrote to the Louisiana State Police, and I never got any reply from them either. So anyway, this has just been very frustrating. Then in January, I bought this property with the inheritance from my dad that had finally come through. That I'd been waiting for that for a very long time, and it finally came through. But that was an absolute nightmare. The bank was gang stalking me. The agents in the bank, the realtors were gang stalking me, doing this exploitation of phobias. The bank delayed the payment getting through to the sellers for weeks. I mean, I can't remember now how long it was. It was a very long time. In the meantime, I had to drive for an hour to get to the realtors to deal with all this. And they just kept making me come back. And it was, I know it's Louisiana and it's never cold in Louisiana, but actually it really was. I mean, it was icy. And in my house, I hadn't even bought the house yet, but they'd let me, just come in. But it was icy. I was getting frostbite, it was icy. And there's no heating. And all underneath this house, there's always a puddle of water, basically. So can you imagine? It was icy. It was just very, very freezing. And because Louisiana is just wet all the time, a wet cold you feel that a lot more than a dry cold, okay? Anyway, that's how I feel it. But all of that time is almost a blur because it was just so painful and horrible, and I was just being tortured the whole time. And then when I had finally bought the property, the first thing they did was they put a dead cat in my driveway. They do these kinds of things. Gang stalkers do these kinds of things. They previously in Texas, they killed my pet hens, and that was just devastating for me because they were like my family, And then on top of it, they were telling people that I had killed them, that I was making a fuss about nothing, that I was breeding chickens for meat, something like that. And then I was pretending that they'd been killed by someone else. Something like that they were telling people. It's unbelievable, the lie. They're just the barefaced lies that these people tell. And people believe them. Anyway, so and then the first thing that happened also here was that the local police here were harassing me. They kept coming here. Oh, we've had reports of somebody, blah, 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 I said, look, this is my house. I'm buying it. It's my house, So yeah, they yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any other. Yes, and of course I was being stalked. The neighbors on both sides of me were doing, gang stalking. There was also a guy in a grey truck who would follow me. There was another one in a white car that I know where that person lives now. It's just at the top of the road. That one kept following me. I had no way to get water, so but I found out there was a faucet by the river, so I was getting water from there, and I was getting gang stalked every time I went there. I've posted about all of this. For the first part of the time I was here, I was under heavy attack with directed energy weapons. There was the sharp pains going on, but mostly it was the Havana syndrome thing with this buzzing in the ears, which, by the way, is happening right now. Is this low level, intermittent, like that, but not a noise, but a vibration, and it's going right through me. Yeah, and it's coming from the right. So, what would that be? East. So from the south. It's coming from the south. I was also being hit with what I know is witchcraft attacks, okay? Maybe I should do a thing about, the differences. I don't know, but the witchcraft attack, it feels like, I imagine like the Dementors, in Harry Potter. It feels like they're trying to drain it. Well, it feels like they're actually draining my life force energy out of the back of my heart chakra. That's what it actually feels like. It's horrible. It's very horrible. So yeah, now I'm no longer homeless, but I'm not in any really better situation. In fact, when I was homeless, I think I was slightly happier because I parked my truck on the beach, and the sea. There's something about the sea. It just it's like the song, I do love to be beside the seaside. I really do. It makes me happy. It's my happy place. So even though everything else in my life was just awful, at least I was by the water, at least I was by the sea, whereas now I'm just kind of, well, I'm not going to say, it is an advantage to have a roof over your head. That you can't, for sure that's an advantage, I'm not denying that, and I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to God and to my dad that I have a roof over my head. But none of this is the life that I want to live, I had chosen to be a flight attendant and to travel because that's what I love. And this isn't, nobody chooses to be imprisoned under house arrest and tortured every day. No one chooses that, obviously, But anyway, I think that's about it, what I have to say about Louisiana. I've tried to get justice and just failed every step of the way. And I don't know what to do now because I'm under attack also by, I think I've done a video. I did a video about that this business about the grass, and now they've I'm completely ostracized in this town. I'm not allowed to have any services. I tried to get internet, they wouldn't give me internet. I tried to get someone to fix my roof, they won't fix my roof. And I had a guy who used to cut my grass. He's not coming to cut my grass anymore, and he's not replying to my texts, So I'm just totally ostracized. And then I get a rude letter from a threatening letter from the city hall saying, and those people have gang stalked me too, by the way, and I do have the recording of that, saying that my grass is too long and threatening. And then, well, the video's on my page. You can see it of the guy who came in and just, basically trespassed on my land, cut the grass. And then I've received a bill for, I think it was $180. The guy who used to cut my grass used to cut all of it for $75. And this is half of it, because he didn't do all of it, because I had my chickens and stuff. I had my solar panels and stuff. So he couldn't really do the rest. So he did half for, I'm being told it's $180. And I object to, it's the principle of the thing. But I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to, I don't know what to do, really, I don't. I'm just under attack and I don't know what to do. I've tried getting justice. I've tried contacting lawyers. As I've, they either just refuse to take my case or they just don't ever answer. They just don't answer. Or they become gang stalkers. Or the really good ones give me some good advice and then just totally disappear. So I don't know what to do. But that's my Louisiana experience up to date. I think I want to start to tell the story from the beginning now. To kind of like how this all started and how I got here, kind of thing. I came to America for asylum and justice. That's why I came to America. And just clarifying that, because I believe the gang stalkers are telling people that I fled the law or something, like on the run from the law. And it's the other way around. The law are the one, the police are the ones who are breaking the freaking law. Anyway, I've rambled. This is too long. Sorry. I'll make it better next time. I am not going to edit. I'm not going to do anything. I've decided if I start to worry about, am I doing it right? Is it perfect? Then I won't do anything. So this is what it is. I'll do my best. I'll do better next time.